Okay, welcome in. So as I promised, we're just going to be looking at the game-winning goals. Welcome back again.
Hi.
From March 29th, and hopefully we can get it all into one video all the way up until April Fool's Day. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11 games on Saturday, I do
12
believe,
o'clock.
or is that Friday? Friday was the 29th, right?
No, Friday was 28th.
So Saturday was the 29th.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense why there's so many. There we go. All right, so the first game took place in Philadelphia as the Flyers played host to the Buffalo Sabres. So the game-winning goal would come off the stick of Ryan Poehling from the Philadelphia Flyers, a power play goal, his 9th of the season. Giving the Flyers a 5-3 lead, they would go on to win by a final score of 7-4. Next game we're going to look at took place in Tampa as the Lightning, who are competing for the top spot in the Atlantic, took on the New York Islanders, who are playing for their playoff lives. So the game-winning goal would come off the stick of Braden Point. At that point, the Lightning had a 4-0 lead. They almost blew it. For Point, for Point, that'd be his 38th goal of the season from Kucherov and Hagel, and that goal happened with 17 seconds to go in the third. The final score would be 5-3. So like I said, they almost blew that lead, but they held on to win over the
How
Islanders.
do you read so fast?
What?
How do you read so fast?
I don't know. I just do. I'm only doing one goal a game anyway.
Oh, okay.
The next game took place in Colorado as the Avalanche played host to the St. Louis Blues. The game-winning goal would come off the stick of Pavel Buchnevich, 8:54 of the third, getting his 15th goal of the season from Ryan Sutter and Robert Thomas. The Blues would win by a final score of 2-1.
What?
The next game took place in Minnesota as the Wild played host to the New Jersey Devils.
I'll do New Jersey, you do Minnesota.
I don't know. You can just do the game-winning goal.
What? Okay.
So what's one more than two?
What?
What's one more than two?
3.
So you got to find the third goal for New Jersey.
Okay. First period, Nico Hischier would get his 31st goal from Brat and Nason. 29 seconds in the first. Paul Cotter would get his 16th goal from Dumoulin and Foot. 5 minutes and 46 seconds in the first. Marcus Foligno would get his 12th goal from
Spurgeon.
and Nyquist. 16 minutes and 31 seconds in the first. Yeah. There's no scoring in the third, so we have to hop over to the third. Nico Hischier would get another goal. His 32nd goal unassisted. 3 minutes and 13 seconds in the third. Ryan Hartman would get his 11th goal from Foligno and Bogosian. 5 minutes and 22 seconds in the third. Nico Hischier would get his 33rd goal, a power play goal, from Luke Hughes and Jesper Bratt. 14 minutes and 50 seconds in the third. Thomas Tatar would get his 7th goal from Palat and Dowling. 16 minutes and 46 seconds in the third. The final would be 5-2 in favor of my favorite team, the New Jersey Devils.
Sounds good. The next game is going to take place in Nashville. I'm just going to turn that over. It'll be the bottom team on your left, and they played host to the Vegas Golden Knights. So Riley Smith would get the game-winning goal in the third period, giving the Vegas Golden Knights a 2-1 lead. They would go on to win by a final score of 3-1. But for Smith, that'd be his 11th goal of the season from Barbashev and Olofsson. So 3-1 would be the final score from Nashville. Just the game-winning goals. So the next game took place in Ottawa as they played host to the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Oh, you said to read off the...
Yeah, we're just going to do the game-winning goals. You're good.
I read off...
It's
That's
all good.
nice.
It's all good.
Okay, the third goal?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
so in the second, Jake Sanderson would get his 8th goal from Pinto and Gregg. 9 minutes and 17 seconds in the second.
So the Sens would win by a final score of 3-2.
Why am I giving you my phone? Huh?
I don't know. After that, we were off to LA as the Kings played host to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Both these teams are looking pretty decent and are almost both guaranteed to be in the playoffs. So the game-winning goal would come off the stick of the former captain, John Tavares. He's getting his 34th goal of the year on the power play from Austin Matthews and Morgan Riley. He would score yet again, getting an empty net goal, giving them a 3-1 lead, and that would be the final score from Los Angeles. Now we're off to Detroit, as we had an original 6 matchup between the Red Wings, and they played host to the Boston Bruins. Yep.
Okay, Lucas Raymond gets 26 goal power play goal from Sider and Kane. 53 seconds in the second. Now the next one is
now we're off to the Battle of Alberta, where it says grudge match on the franchise mode. And I'm just going to tilt this one more time because we'll have one more game to review down here after this.
This game would need overtime, so Leon Draisaitl gets 51st goal from Skinner with the goalie.
Yeah.
2 minutes and 25 seconds in the overtime.
There you go. Next matchup took place in Seattle, where we had the Kraken, and they played host to the Dallas Stars.
The third goal?
Yep.
It's just 5-1 now. Do I
just do the second? That's all you gotta do.
Do the third?
The second, because 2-1 would have been the game-winning goal.
Dang it, I don't know what I just clicked. Okay, Rube Hintz will get his 27th goal, power play goal from Robertson and Rantanen. 18 minutes and 24 seconds in the first.
Perfect. Just going to tilt this back up one more time, and then the last game took place in San Jose. It's going to be the team on the top right of your screen. The team. I screwed that word up, didn't I?
Okay, the third? What's this? 6-1.
Well, it's one more than one.
2. Second
goal.
Okay. Artemi Panarin will get his 33rd goal from Borgen and Trocheck. 13 minutes and 58 seconds in the first.
And that made it 2-1, but they would add on 4 more goals, so the final score would be 6-1. All right, now we're off to Sunday, correct?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Sunday.
There we go. Now we're off to Sunday, where we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. All right, you want me to start?
Sorry, I got excited when it said New Jersey on
the next day?
No, the last day.
Okay.
Alright, so that's why I read all the goals. Okay, the first one is Montreal. Where's Montreal?
Florida. So.
Okay, Montreal. Okay, so this is 4-2.
Yeah. So the game-winning one would have been 3.
Okay. So in the third, Nick Suzuki gets 23rd goal from Hudson and Slavkovsky. 2 minutes and 2 seconds in the third. The final score would be 4-2 in favor of the Montreal Canadiens.
Perfect. They got a win. That's good. All right, the next matchup took place in Washington, as we had the Capitals playing host to the Buffalo Sabres.
6? What? So the sixth goal? Okay. Jack Quinn with his 14th goal, unassisted, 5 minutes and 52 seconds in the third. The final score would be 8-5 in favor of the Buffalo Sabres.
So a bit of an upset, to say the least, but don't worry, Ovechkin did score, and he is on pace to get the all-time scoring goal record.
Dang it.
The next game took place in Winnipeg, as we had the Jets played host to your second favorite team, the Vancouver Canucks.
What? Who said I had a second favorite team? In the third, Mason Appleton would get his 10th goal from Lowry and Ehlers. 6 minutes and 24 seconds in the third. And the final score would be 3-1 in favor of the Winnipeg Jets.
There we go. They're continuing their winning ways. All right, the next game took place in Chicago, as the Blackhawks played host to the Utah Hockey Club. So the game-winning goal would come off the stick of Alex Kerfoot. He would score with 2 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the second period. Giving the Utah Hockey Club a 3-2 lead, they would go on to win by a final score of 5-2. The next game took place in Carolina, as we had the Hurricanes, and they played host to the New York Islanders. This would be a high-scoring game, to say the least, and the game-winning goal would come off the stick of Dmitry Orlov, 9:19 of the third period, giving them a 5-4 lead. they would add one more goal and win by a final score of 6-4.
You can read the next one.
Ooh, I forgot to scroll down. That's okay. Well, there's only 3 more teams left anyway, so or 3 more games left anyway.
Where the heck is
So the Penguins, they played host to the Ottawa Senators.
I didn't try to open up a non-open controller. You did.
Just one goal to report in this game. It would come in overtime off the stick of the captain, Sidney Crosby, getting his 27th goal of the year on the power play from Erik Karlsson and Ryan Raquel. Imagine doing a full 60 minutes, nobody scores. You have to get one goal in overtime.
Okay, it's 3-2.
The next game, yep. So
Would
the
be-
the third goal between the Anaheim Ducks and the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Third?
Yep.
Okay. Steven Lawrence would get 7th goal from Kampf and Bennett. 11 minutes and 35 seconds in the third. The
There.
final score would be 3-2 in favor of the Maple Leafs.
Perfect. Now we're off to our second grudge match of here, as we had the Los Angeles Kings played host to the San Jose Sharks.
Which second? Okay. Adrian Kempe would get his 30th goal from a power play goal from Kopitar and Doughty. 15 minutes and 13 seconds in the first. The final score would be 8-1 in favor of LA.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
Also, it's a grudge match there for them too.
Yeah, so they both had a begrudge match. Okay, now we're off to... Oh, I gotta scroll this over. Oops, watch out.
There we go.
Right side of the screen. There we go. Just had to do a little shift. The last game in March was on Monday, correct? Yes.
Yeah.
So March 31st, and there was just 4 games on tap. The first game took place in New Jersey as we had the Devils playing host to the Minnesota Wild.
What would the game-winning goal be? First? What? The third?
Yes.
Oh, okay. This game would need a shootout. Paul Cotter would be the shootout winner. It doesn't show. That's all it shows. It's just shootout winner.
Yeah, you got the game-winning goal.
Yeah, yay!
There you go.
And the final score would be 3-2 in favor of the New Jersey Devils.
Cool. Now we're off to Philadelphia as the Flyers played host to the Nashville Predators.
Second.
Yep.
Okay. Drysdale would get his 7th goal from
Michkov.
Michkov and Konechny. 13 minutes and 48 seconds in the second. The final score would be 2-1 in favor of Philadelphia.
So a low-scoring game. The next game took place in Colorado as we had the Avalanche and they played host to the Calgary Flames.
This game would need a shootout. Yegor Sharangovich would be the shootout winner. And the final score would be 3-2 in favor of the Calgary Flames.
There you go. And the last game took place in Seattle as the Kraken played host to the Dallas Stars.
Mikhail Granlund would get his 20th goal, an empty net goal from Lindell and Marshman, 18-53 in the third. And the final score would be 3-1 in favor of the Dallas Stars. Yeah.
Sounds good. Now we'll go to April 1st, which now I'm
what's
gonna
today?
have to turn this back sideways, so another shift. Don't mind us. And that's probably as good as we're going to get. So we had a total of 10 games. April 1st. No, this is not an April Fool's prank. A lot of games. All right. The first game took place in Ottawa as the Senators played host to the Buffalo Sabres.
How about you do that side? I'll do this side.
Sure.
Okay.
Tage Thompson would increase the lead to 3-0, 12:36 of the second period, giving them a 3-0 lead at that point. For Thompson, that would be his 39th goal of the season from Peterka and Dahlin. They would win by a final score of 5-2. The next game took place in Montreal as the Canadiens and the Florida Panthers were doing a home and home. The Canadiens won on Sunday, and then they would play against the Florida Panthers.
Today.
Just today, exactly. This game would need to go to overtime. Nick Suzuki would score 29 seconds into the overtime frame, giving the Canadiens a 3-2 lead. 3-2 win, I should say. That'd be his 25th goal of the season from Cole Caulfield and Lane Hudson, who has 57 assists for a rookie defenseman. That's not too shabby. All right, the next game took place between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Nashville Predators. This was a very high-scoring game. I was kind of surprised how much scoring the Blue Jackets did. It was pretty wild. Let's see. The game-winning goal would come off the stick of Adam Fantilli with exactly 8 minutes to go in the second period, giving the Blue Jackets a 5-3 lead. They would go on to win. 8-4 would be the final score. For Fantilli, that'd be his 24th goal of the season, assisted by Boone Jenner. So 8-4 would be the final score. Now we're off to Boston as the Bruins played host to the Washington Capitals. So this would be a bit of a high-scoring game as well, but not as bad as the other one. This game, Tom Wilson would get the game-winning goal, 14:46 in the third period, giving the Capitals a 4-2 lead, getting his 32nd goal of the season from Dubois and Ovechkin, 14:46 of the period. And by the way, Ovechkin scored in this game, so now he's only 4 goals away from the record, and I think it will happen before the end of the season. So yeah, the final score will be 4-3 in favor of the Capitals.
By the way, the Capitals are playing tomorrow.
Spoiler alert. And now we're off to New York.
You can literally see it on the side of the screen.
And I'm going to do another shift. There you go. Bottom left of the screen. You can see New York played host to the Tampa Bay Lightning. So, the game-winning goal would come off the stick of Jake Gensel at 8:09 of the second period, getting his 38th goal of the season from Kucherov and Braden Point. They would go on to win by a final score of 4-1. All right.
Okay, no, my turn
you
for
need
that.
this one. You can do the next 5. So now I'm going to shift it up again, and then I'll shift it down. Just 1 second. There we go. Perfect.
This game would need overtime, and Cam Fowler will get his 9th goal from Thomas. 3 minutes and 27 seconds in overtime. The final score would be 2-1 in favor of the St. Louis Blues. I forget their name.
St. Louis Blues. You can't forget the next team, the Utah Hockey Club. I can't wait until they get a name for next season. And they played host to the Calgary Flames.
Clayton Keller will get his 25th goal from Genther and Cooley. 19 minutes and 42 seconds in the third. The final score would be 3-1 in favor of the Utah Hockey Club. That sounds so wrong.
I know. All right, now we're off to the Pacific Division as we had the Vegas Golden Knights. They played host to the Edmonton Oilers. Game-winning goal, so it would be the third.
Victor Arvidsson will get his 12th goal from Kapanen and Henrik. 18-20 in the second.
So the Oilers got a huge win. And now we're off to staying in the Pacific Division as they had the Anaheim Ducks playing host to the San Jose Sharks.
By the way, for the Oilers game, it was 3-2 in favor of the Oilers. I forgot to say that. Where is San Jose? Okay, so that would be the third goal?
Yep. No, it'd be...
Fourth?
Okay.
So this game would need a shootout. Mason McTavish would be the shootout winner. McTavish. I don't know. The final score would be 4-3 in favor of the Anaheim Ducks.
Perfect. And we'll do one more little shift down below. The last game took place in LA as we had the Kings playing host to the Winnipeg Jets.
The third period, Adrian Kempe would get his 32nd goal, an empty net goal from Kopitar and Fogle. 19. Oh fuck! Did I do the wrong one? Okay, that's the wrong goal. Andrzej Kopitar would get his 19th goal from Kuzmenko and Kempe. 9 minutes and 50 seconds in the first, and the final score will be 4-1 in favor of the LA Kings.
Perfect. Now, do you mind going to the standings?
Cool.
Might as well do the standings.
Okay, you can do the standings.
Okay.
Actually, no, wait, no.
I'll do the standings?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Huh?
Want me to do it?
Actually, yes.
Okay. So in the standings, in the Metropolitan Division, the Washington Capitals are still in first place where they have a record of 48, 17, and 9. They have 8 games remaining on their schedule. They have 105 points. Carolina Hurricanes are in second place with a record of 45, 24, and 4. They have 9 games remaining on their schedule, and they have 94 points as we speak. Your New Jersey Devils are in third place with a record of 40, 29, and 7. They have 87 points. They have 76 games played. Therefore, they have 6 games remaining on their schedule. And we'll see if they can hold on to that third place spot.
Hopefully they will.
Here's open. In the Atlantic Division, the Leafs are in first place with a record of 45, 25, and 4. They have 94 points with 8 games remaining. The Lightning are just 1 point behind them. They have 93 points with a record of 44, 25, and 5. Very similar records. And with the same amount of games remaining, they have 8 games as well. Florida Panthers are in third place after back-to-back losses. They have a record of 44, 26, and 4. They have 92 points with 8 games remaining. So 2 points are separating first and third place in the Atlantic. The 2 teams in the wildcard spot are both from Canada. The Ottawa Senators have a record of 39, 29, and 6. They have 84 points. They are more than likely going to get into the playoffs. It would take a late season collapse for them to miss. And the Montreal Canadiens are holding on to that second wildcard spot with a record of 35, 30, and 9. They have 79 points. But right on their tail are the Blue Jackets, the Rangers, and I will still say the Red Wings are kind of still in the mix. The Blue Jackets have a record of 34, 30, and 9. They have 77 points. The Rangers have a record of 35, 32, and 7. They also have 77 points. The Red Wings have 75 points with a record of 34, 33, and 7. They have 8 games remaining, and the Jackets have 9 games remaining on their schedule. After that, the New York Islanders, they are 5 points out of a playoff spot this late in the season. I think it might be a little too late to make a push. They have a record of 32, 32, and 10. They have 74 points. The Pittsburgh Penguins have a record of 30, 34, and 11. They have 71 points with 7 games remaining, and the Islanders have 8 games remaining. I forgot to say that. The Philadelphia Flyers have a record of 31, 36, and 9. They have 71 points. They have 6 games remaining on their schedule. The Buffalo Sabres aren't in last place anymore. Hooray! They have a record of 32, 36, and 6. They have 70 points. And who would have guessed this? The Boston Bruins, a team that I picked to be in the playoffs, they are now in the last place in the Eastern Conference with a record of 30, 36, and 9. They have 69 points with 7 games remaining. Now, if only the Bruins and Leafs could both miss the playoffs, then that'd be a great playoff run. But, I don't think Boston's making it, especially when they're 10 points of the playoff spot with just 7 games remaining. Want to do the West? No? Okay.
No.
Okay, so in the West, it's too bad I couldn't find the standings on here. Anyways, it'd be all wrong anyway.
It's okay.
The Jets are still holding on to first place, but just barely. In the Central Division with a record of 51, 20, and 4. They have 75 points. So they have 106 points, and they have 7 games remaining. The Dallas Stars are just 4 points back with a record of 49, 21, and 4. They have 102 points, and they have 8 games remaining on their schedule. So with a game in hand, they could possibly catch Winnipeg and take over first place. So the Jets got to keep winning if they want to hold on to that first place spot. Colorado Avalanche are in third place. They have a record of 45, 26, and 4. They have 94 points. More than likely, they're going to be getting that third spot. It would take a very late season collapse for the Blues or the Wild to play catch-up. Okay, catch-up. In the Pacific Division, the Vegas Golden Knights, they have clinched a playoff spot, just as Dallas has as well. They have a record of 45, 21, and 8. They have 98 points. If I were to bet, I'd say they're probably going to get that Pacific Division. They have a 5-point lead on the Kings, and they have a 7-point lead on the Oilers. The Kings are in second place with a record of 42, 23, and 9. They have 93 points with 8 games remaining. The Oilers have 8 games remaining as well with a record of 43, 26, and 5. They have 91 points. So if the Kings happen to get home ice advantage in this playoff matchup with the Oilers, which would be 4 years in a row, they're probably sick of each other, if I'm going to be honest with you. Because the Kings have a crazy home record, I think it could be a dangerous series for the Oilers, especially if they have to play away from home. The 2 teams in the wild card are both from the Central Division. The Blues, who have now won 10 straight games. 10 straight games. They have a record of 41, 28, and 7. They have 89 points. They have 6 games remaining on their schedule. We'll see how many of those games they can actually win. And the Wild have a record of 41, 28, and 6. They have 88 points. They have 7 games remaining. The teams that are on the outside looking in, and sorry about the second team, I don't know what to talk about. The Flames are 6 points back out of a playoff spot. They have a record of 35, 27, and 12. They have 8 games remaining, so I think it's going to be very tough for them to compete for a playoff spot. The Vancouver Canucks are 7 points out of a playoff spot with 8 games to go. They have a record of 34, 27, and 13.
Patting my shoulder isn't going to help.
It's okay. Both the Flames and the Canucks are both have 6-7 points, or both 6 or 7 points out of a playoff spot respectively. This late in the season, it would be very hard for either of those teams to play catch up. If they were only like 3 points or 4 points back, I'd say it's possible. But when you're 6 or 7 points out of a playoff spot with only 8 games remaining, that's going to be a tough road ahead of you. The Utah Hockey Club had a pretty decent season, unlikely to make the playoffs, but still a pretty good, successful first year in the league. They have a record of 34, 29, and 12. They have 80 points with 7 games remaining. The Ducks are still barely hanging on there. They haven't technically been eliminated just yet. They have a record of 33, 33, and 8. They have 74 points. They're 14 points back of the playoff spot with 8 games to go. The teams that are eliminated, it's 4 teams from the West. The first one is the Seattle Kraken. They have a record of 31, 28, and 6. They have 68 points with 7 games remaining. The Nashville Predators, who I've said in so many of my videos, had a very, very disappointing season, finishing second last in their division with a record of 27, 40, and 8. They have 62 points with 7 games remaining. Chicago Blackhawks, who are clearly in a rebuild, they have a record of 21, 44, and 9. They have 51 points with 8 games to go. And last but not least, the San Jose Sharks, who are possibly going to finish in last place, but they're just a point behind Chicago for that last playoffs, or for the last spot in the West. They have a record of 20, 44, and 10. They have 50 points with 8 games to go. All right, we're finally all caught up, almost 27 minutes into this video. I want to thank you. This was always fun. Anytime I get to talk about hockey, it's fun. And anytime I get to talk about hockey with you, it's even more fun.
Spoon.
High five. Boom. All right, as always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, now that I'm trying something new, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative.
Spoiler alert, Vancouver's playing Seattle tomorrow.
No way. It's not like they can see it on the screen. Alrighty. Take care.
Yeah.